All right, this video I want to talk about and rate 25 boomer advice tips that I had ChatGPT generate. And I'm just going to read each one and see what I have to say about whether it's applicable today, how it can be applied to today, and so on. All right, so the first one is save for a rainy day. Not a bad idea. It's not easy, but it's doable. All you really got to do is really choose to not spend as much on things that aren't bringing you value. Look, cutting out a daily Starbucks or avocado toast is not going to suddenly make you be able to buy a house after a short period of time, at least in a major metropolitan area or anywhere like that. So I'm going to rate this one good idea, not easy to do today, but still technically possible, and good to have something instead of nothing. Number two, call, don't text. It's more personal. Yeah, maybe for older people like my silent generation grandparents. My mom told me don't text my grandmother on the phone that I gave to her because she's still charged as she goes. So if we texted back and forth, the charge would pile up pretty quickly. So that's out of the question. Now I do text back and forth with my great uncle, who is, by the way, my grandmother's twin brother, so silent generation as well. But yeah, I guess it is more personal to hear the other person's voice, or in the case of a FaceTime call, I actually see them. That's why I FaceTimed my grandmother over Wi Fi on Christmas Day with all the other relatives there so that she could see and talk to everyone. So this one's applicable, but not something that can always be done, and especially among younger generations who I think it would be more of a FaceTime call. I've been meaning to FaceTime my friends a little more. The thing is, I always feel like I have to send a text asking if they're up for a FaceTime call first, just that they're not caught off guard. But I digress. Carry cash. You never know when you'll need it. Maybe not a bad idea if you are worried about your card or anything, but me, I can't really think of a. I personally don't carry cash because if something happens to it, it's gone. That's it. Now, I did carry cash a little bit. I got a $20 bill from my grandfather for my birthday. I used it to cover the remainder of what gift cards didn't cover at for my birthday dinner at the movie theater, then to cover what my loyalty dollars didn't cover. And I used the rest to bring my grocery costs down, meaning I paid partially with cash with the remainder of it, and then the rest of it on my card with Apple Pay. But yeah, for me, generally, I order stuff online, so I mean, this one's not bad, it's just harder to apply if you live like me. Now, if you go out quite a bit, probably not a bad idea, but at a certain point, if there's like a major blackout or something like that, I think there are probably worse problems than there are worse problems to think about than whether you can buy something. And hey, if there's a total societal collapse, both card and cash will be completely useless. So buy those gold and silver bars, because people are always going to want that for some reason. Or better yet, assets that you can work with. Number four, buy a house as soon as you can. Renting is throwing money away. Yeah, long term, that's true, but in the short term, it's a necessary evil. Maybe rent for as low as possible. I shouldn't talk too much about this because I live rent free with my parents, so I have I have not much else to say about this. Number five, you'll regret getting that tattoo someday. I can see that as very possible, and personally, I've never gotten a tattoo. I never will get a tattoo. It's just not, it just doesn't appeal to me. But hey, if you have a tattoo, you do you. Number six, don't trust online banking. Always balance your checkbook. I have never personally had a checkbook for myself, so I don't think this one's applicable to me. Number seven, hard work never killed anyone. Yeah, clearly the ChatGPT didn't scrape r slash anti work because I'm pretty sure there's stories on there about people who have died on their jobs. Yeah, I don't have much else to say about that. Stop staring at your phone, you'll miss life. I can agree with that. Yeah, that's one of the reasons that I try not to walk with my phone out and about. It's why another reason I deleted Pokemon Go was that I'd have one less incentive to have my phone out. I watched a video recently about how the introduction of smartphones ruined concerts and such. I've never been to a concert, so I can't s- speak about this personally. But yeah, it's a trope now that something's happening and everyone has their phone out trying to record it, or else it didn't happen, bruh. Fact check. It will divert your focus. Take a photo or a short clip if you'd like, but just something quick to memorialize it. That's what I do. Number nine, print out important documents. What if the computer crashes? Not a bad idea, but what if something happens to the piece of paper? Number 10, marriage is the ultimate goal in life. Oh, I'm trying to think of what I want to say on it because I feel like I'd be crapping on people whose weddings I've been to, such as my cousin on my dad's side, or my uncle on my dad's side. But yeah, I'm in the Aaron Clary camp of marriage isn't really necessary and in fact is a financial liability if you're a man. Honestly, the way I see it with couples living together before they get married, marriage isn't specifically what it was anymore. It's just a piece of paper. It's a tax document. It's a tax structuring. But hey, if it makes you feel closer, I respect your decision. It's not what I would do, but like I said, it's your choice and I respect your decision, even if it's not the one I would make. Number 11, write thank you notes by hand. It's the polite thing to do. Yeah, these days it's just a thank you text, and where are you even going to find the materials to write one by hand? Number 12, learn to change your own oil. Not a bad idea, but back when I was driving, I actually went to this place where you got a free car wash that you could use anytime later after getting the oil change. So that was something. That's what I did because that's where my dad went. And I guess I have a little nostalgia for watching the car wash from inside the car. But hey, if you want to do that, more power to you. Just make sure you know what you're doing, is all. Number 13, a handshake is as good as a contract. Yeah, not really. You know what they always say in r/malicious compliance? Can I get that in writing? You want important things in writing. This way they can't backtrack or pretend it didn't happen later. Dress for the job you want, not the job you have. Okay, what do I want to say about that? I mean, have they seen Falling Down? Bill Foster was dressed for the job he wanted, which was the one he had before he got laid off. But that didn't really help him. Well, that and his personality. Go watch Falling Down and you'll know what I'm talking about. Number 15, stick with one company. Loyalty pays off. No, it does not. Companies want to spend more on hiring instead of promoting. Companies aren't loyal to you. You should not be loyal to them. Companies are just for a paycheck. That's all. And this isn't just with employment. I'm also talking about with how loyalty programs are a waste of effort except for groceries, because you're buying groceries anyway. But you should be willing to switch to a competitor if you think that they provide something a better value, like Stop and Shop. I have thought about going there instead of Star Market because That's where my mom goes to the gym, so I can just do my food shopping while she's in the gym, and then we meet back up, and then I have everything I need. But I still have the paid membership from Star Market, so I may as well put that to use before it runs out. And then when that runs out, I think I'll decide from there. That depends on if my mom still goes to that particular gym. Number 16, learn to drive stick. What if there's an emergency? I mean, it's not a bad skill to have, but it's not something useful day to day. So learn if you can, but don't go out of your way to get a stick shift card just for that. Number 17, invest in a good set of encyclopedias. The internet exists. Number 18, mow the lawn in straight lines. Makes it look professional. Not a bad idea if you're doing landscaping work. But if it's your own lawn, you do what you want. If you really care about how it looks like Hank Hill does, I'll tell you what, uh, doing chores is a privilege. Then go for it. But personally, I don't really care how the lawn looks. In fact, I've always wanted to pave over the lawn here because it just seemed like a waste of effort to take care of it. But I digress. Number 19, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I can agree with that. Number 20, you can't go wrong with beige. I have nothing to say about that. Number 21, don't spend money you don't have. Exactly. That I wholeheartedly agree with. That's what I live by. That's why I'm not in debt right now. So I only went, like I said in my college video, I only went to college because I knew I wasn't going to go into debt over it. And if you do go into debt for something like a house, make sure that you have a plan for paying it off. But yeah, other than that, don't spend what you don't have. Don't find it. I apologize, spammers. That's one of the downsides of having a landline phone, which, deviating from the list from here for a moment, pretty sure that might have been a. Oh, wait, that actually is a boomer tip that's coming up. But first, oh my god, I just realized that actually was the next one. And I just got that call at the landline. It was a spammer. But yeah, the tip is get a landline. Cell phones can't always be trusted. Now, in terms of connectivity, yeah, my house dampens phone signals. My relatives constantly complain about it when they come over for Thanksgiving. I personally have to step outside to get a clear signal to make a phone call, like when Darth Vader had to take that hollow call from the Emperor in The Empire Strikes Back. He had to have his ship leave the asteroid belt that the Millennium Falcon was flying through so that he could, quote, send a clear transmission. But yeah, landline can be useful if you need to have a phone number that a job you work at needs to reach you at, but you don't want to give them your cell phone number so they can't reach you anytime. That is actually a really good boundary you can set with an employer, and they can't say that didn't give them a way to get in touch with you. So yeah, landlines, very useful. I, as a elder of Gen Z, use my landline phone number as the phone number that the instant gratification job can get in touch with me with. My reasoning went back then was more about, this was back when I actually went out. It was, if I'm not at home, that means I can't come in. Of course, I'm spending a lot more time at home now anyway, so not as applicable, but same basic idea. So in the event that I am out and about, they can't get a hold of me. My therapist said it's a very good boundary to set. So, yeah, speaking of work, that takes me into number 23. You'll never regret working overtime. Maybe you won't regret the money you made, but pretty sure you'll regret the time you lost if it was for a particular reason, or if you overexert yourself. I can definitely see you end up regretting it. I don't know. I've never worked overtime, depending on what you consider work. So if you lump in all of the YouTube stuff I do and the instant gratification job, yeah, there were probably times that I've worked over 40 hours, but not at one particular job or side hustle. But that's all I have to say about that because I've never actually worked traditional overtime per se. Okay, number 24. This one's, in the words of George Carlin, well, this one's just plain fucking stupid. Just walk in and ask for the manager to get a job. Yeah, we all know that's never gonna happen again, unless there's a big societal collapse and then reformation, and then the internet isn't a thing anymore. Computers aren't really working or anything like that. Then I could see that happening. But as long as there's the internet and custom internal software for applying to jobs, or as long as job boards like Indeed are a thing, you are never going to get, you're never going to be able to just walk in and ask the manager for to get a job. In the wise words of George Carlin, well, that's just plain fucking stupid. And last but not least, everyone needs to have a retirement fund by age 30. That one I don't have any particular opinion on. I mean, it's probably not a bad thing to have a retirement fund of some kind, just because it's good to have the extra money, because the amount that Social Security pays, I've heard that's not enough. I'm not really educated on this topic. I've heard mixed things about it. Personally, I wouldn't call it a retirement fund specifically because of theories I've heard about private retirement funds being confiscated to fund Social Security when it runs out. So I guess I just wouldn't call it a retirement fund. That being said, I don't know if you particularly need one by 30, or I guess it's good to have investments by 30 that you can that have guaranteed returns, like whatever Hey, say, hey, this is not financial advice, by the way, YouTube, so I am not giving financial advice here. Do proper research on that to figure it out. It's just, again, me personally, I would not put my money into anything that's called a retirement fund. I would just think of it as the money that I have, and then, oh, look at that, I'm old enough to retire and supplement with Social Security. Okay, now this is my retirement money, and there's nothing you can say about it. So yeah, that was 25 boomer tips that have varying degrees of applicability. Again, one or two of them are just plain fucking stupid in the context of today. The rest of them, somewhat useful. Again, me personally, landline, super effective at setting boundaries with the instant gratification job. I would highly recommend it if you don't have one for the sake of setting boundaries with your instant gratification job or W 2 employment. If you're out doing something with your friends and you don't pick up on the landline when they try to call you, I think they'll get the hint. So comment what you think of any of these, whether they're useful or not. Give this video a like, subscribe for daily videos. I'll see you soon.